Tennessee Titans at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams are 7.5-point home favorites with a total of 54 in this one. And why, you might ask? Oh, it is because Derrick Henry is gone for at least the rest of the regular season. Does look like there's a chance he could make it back to the playoffs. Should the Titans make the playoffs at this point without Derrick Henry out there? So this line moved a ton, moves to 7.5 on the other side of the touchdown. Brad, if you look, I mean, I know we live in an age of running backs don't matter, but there are a few that matter, and Derrick Henry certainly matters, and certainly matters for this Tennessee Titans team for the way that they play offense. I mean, like, the offense has been geared around Derrick Henry and using him now, actually utilizing him to help out with some different scenarios here from a passing aspect as well. I think the Rams are the number one team in the NFL right now. I think they're the most well-rounded team in the NFL. And oh, by the way, they went out and added a guy named Von Miller onto this defense, to go along with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and all of that. And honestly, it looks like he's going to play this week. He was out of practice on Wednesday. So like, it looks like he's scheduled to play this week for this Rams team. I have called this the ultimate. This is the teaser leg of the century of the week right now, like, is what this is. Like, it is. You get this thing down to 1.5 with the Rams at home against this Titans team. I would put that thing in a friggin' teaser with any of the other ones that you feel confident in this week. I mean, this Rams team is going to beat this Titans team. Now, whether they beat them by 7.5 or not, that's my question to you, Brad. What do you think?
So we'll start off by saying, yes, I think the Rams are going to shred them. Right, so Tennessee still missing their two top corners that we spoke about a while ago. The defense has looked okay, but if you dig in a little bit closer, they're 31st in success rate allowed, but 12th in EPA. Well, I mean, I would expect that to regress towards the success rate rather than the EPA. And, especially with all these weapons the Rams are going to throw. I think the Rams score theirs. Now, obviously, the big question is, what does this Titans offense look like? So, you just take with and without Derrick Henry, they lose 0.17 EPA per play, which is a huge amount. Now, is some of that a bit of sort of part of the data, like they take Derrick Henry off the field on third down when they're more likely to be throwing, that kind of thing? Possibly so, but you also see that Tannehill, he's throwing 30% of passes with play action. He's throwing the 10th most passes against single high safety coverages. So I think you have to say that Derrick Henry matters, A, because he's getting more yards than expected. He's done that for years. But B, that the defense sets up to stop him, which gives Tannehill more room. So I do think. Now, I do also think that 7.5 is probably a little bit of an overreaction, or maybe the 6.5 was wrong in the first place with Henry in there. So I would definitely lean towards the plus 7.5, and I would lean towards this over 54 because they're going to be forced to throw the Titans. And if Julio and Brandon, I think they should still be active.
Julio Jones did return to practice on Wednesday, though, Stephen. You being a longtime fantasy football player, you know that means absolutely nothing, because Julio can be active. There's active, and then there's Julio active, which is like he goes out and runs 5 routes, and then he goes back on the sideline again, and then doesn't play the rest of the game. Yeah, like there's Julio has a whole injury designation thing for how that goes. That being said, he was back out at practice on Wednesday, so that is at least looking up a little bit for this Titans team. If he doesn't go, though, and if there's indications he's not going to go, and they can just put Jalen Ramsey on A.J. Brown and then basically say, beat us with the corpse of Adrian Peterson and Deontay Foreman and stuff like that, like, I think it could get real bad real quick. So if that were to be the case, I would definitely be back in the Rams at 7.5, but that's something we'll just have to monitor as the rest of the week progresses.
Yeah, if outside A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, the rest of their wide receivers core has a bunch of names out of a Key and Peele skit. So, I mean, this Rams teaser leg is the way I went. I paired it with the 49ers early in the week. Wouldn't surprise me if this gets to 9 because the books want a little more protection on the teasers situation with this. I think it's going to be, like you said, the most popular teaser leg this week. So I do think, though, this presents a fun philosophical debate here. Like, what is Derrick Henry worth to the line for the Titans? Because as we know, most running backs are worth 0 to the line. And I think Brad laid out a lot of great points there that he's worth something, right? I mean, he's definitely worth something. And I'm not sure this week against this Rams team is the litmus test that we truly want to see what Derrick Henry is actually worth to the line. But if you look at this Titans team over their 4-game winning streak, how have they done it? They've been 22nd in rush success rate. Ryan Tannehill has been a top 7 grade as a PFF passer this year. He's been, over that 4-game span, 3rd in drop back EPA, 3rd in success rate. So they've been beating these good teams on the arm of Ryan Tannehill. And if Devontae freaking Adams for the Green Bay Packers is only worth 2 points to the spread, then I think, in my mind, there's a very small chance that any running back is worth 3.5 points to the spread, even if it is the king, Derrick Henry. Now, again, I'm not sure this is the week that I really want to test this against this Rams elite team. So we'll see how it plays out. If we get some overreaction lines in future weeks here against teams that aren't the Los Angeles Rams, I'm probably going to look back to the Titans. But as Brad also mentioned, the cornerback issues are just terrifying against this Rams passing game. So I think it's less about Derrick Henry and more about that other stuff this week.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that Derrick Henry actually opens up the passing game a little bit better. So while we know that you don't have to run effectively for play action to work, there's a difference between Derrick Henry being out on the field with a play action type situation and just about any other running back in the league, right? Like, we have seen time and time again that safety cheating up and having to cheat up because you have to find somebody you have to gang tackle this guy. You literally cannot bring him down with one tackler. And so, like, you see these guys creeping up, and like that allows for Ryan Tannehill to throw the ball more effectively because he is getting these guys either, 1, biting on play action, or 2, just playing much more close to the line than they would in any other situation. I don't think that's going to be the case with Adrian Peterson out there. I don't think it's going to be the case with whoever they decide, if they want to go with Foreman or whoever in the hell is going to run the McNichols or whoever's going to run the ball for
Adrian
them.
Peterson, so baby.
You get to play a normal style defense here. Play action's not going to be near as effective because you're not really all that worried as much about the running back getting the ball and things like that as you are with Derrick Henry. You're just super hyper aware with Derrick Henry on the field. And so
it's fascinating, Matt. It's so fascinating because Derrick Henry has been actually near 0 in running back yards over expected per carry this year. He's only been getting what's been blocked for him this year, despite his reputation. So as these weeks go on here, it's going to be really, really interesting for me to see if they do start dropping back a little more and playing the passing game, if it actually makes them more effective in the run game, if Tannehill's going to check into runs against lighter boxes with these no-name running backs. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I really don't. But I'm really curious to see how this goes. This is like the ultimate do running backs matter litmus test.
Yeah, it really will. It really will. It's going to be very interesting.